Lights, camera, boost.
Oh, I'm trying to fix my hair and she's taking selfies. No. Teamwork makes the dream work. Even when we're here, you still got to make sure you look the best. Oh, no. No, that's good. It looks really nice. Happy days. Welcome back to the archive. I'm Lana Wilkinson.
I'm Rosalia Russian.
And we are here filming episode 6. It has been 2 months since we've sat on this couch.
I know. I just sat down. I'm like, oh my God, I've missed this. I wonder if people have missed us, but you heard us last week. So
and you've probably seen us like draining your feeds in some capacity. But we have been, I think I'm just going to use the word, overwhelmed with the support you've given us. Like I'm in shock. For people that didn't think this would work, this has been incredible.
I know, because we did pre-record a few episodes. That was 2 months ago. So as much as we have still been in your ears and on your screen, this is our first episode back post-event. We hosted a little, I'm not going to say little because it was an amazing big event at the W Hotel.
With Bondi Boost, which was incredible. And I remember you saying, all these people are going to cancel. And I was like, no, they won't. They definitely won't. And they didn't.
I think the difference was, so here we go. One of us strayed and went really rogue with the guest list and kept on inviting more and more people.
I did, but you know why? Because I don't want anybody seeing it. And if there was someone we missed, I can honestly tell you it was a genuine mistake, because I just like everyone to feel included. I think what we don't talk about sometimes on social media is that you see things and sometimes you think, I wonder why I wasn't invited. Some people don't say it. Other people say it. And if they do say it, it wasn't so much on our event, because I think we definitely did include people.
I don't know who was left. Maybe your daughter's school teachers. I think they're there, and the people who weren't there.
When I've done a few events for the business, and I'll tell you something, there's a couple of times I've had some phone calls, and sometimes it's genuinely been a mistake, or it's been the PR person make the mistake. And I just don't want anyone feeling bad. I like everyone to feel like they're included. And you know what? I would say the vibe in the room was epic. So maybe we do leave some of the party planning to me. I think it was very fun. I think everybody had a really great time.
I know. The funny thing is, as you said, you were like, no one's going to cancel. I'm like, no, people cancel on my events all the time. The day of, the week leading up to it, there's always cancellations. And when I was talking to one of my girlfriends, actually, I'm going to say probably 3 girlfriends about the event, saying, oh my God, I don't know what we are going to do. We have completely over-invited. We don't have enough space. All of my girlfriends like, oh, perfect, I'll stay home. Your girlfriends were all like, woohoo, oh my God, of course I'll be there. Meanwhile, my girlfriends were like, oh my God, if you want me to stay home, I'll stay home.
We didn't want anyone to stay home. I want everybody there. I think it was fun, and I thought it brought the event to a place where I feel like people really understood us. We did a panel with our incredible producer, Sarah Davidson, which was really nice. We both got a little bit emotional, and there was lots of love and sunshine and rainbows in the room, which I'm about. And then we also had Bondi Boost hair stations, which were really great, so everyone could get glam, had all the elements of fun.
The highlight of the event was probably when we had a gate crusher come to our event. I am in awe with her on how she actually got into the event, guys, because when I say obviously we had a list downstairs, I couldn't even get in. So I was on the list and I was like, guys, I am the list. See Rosalia Russian on the invite list? That is me. So I've got no idea how she got upstairs. She's a professional gate crusher.
She is a professional gate crusher, and I actually know her. See, for me, I go, that's awesome. Maybe we've done okay. Like, truth be told, I used to work in marketing, as I've mentioned before, and I was looking after Delta Goodrum, who was performing at my workplace, and this particular gate crusher, who we absolutely love, by the way. I just want to say I have so much respect for anybody that just goes, you know what have I got to lose? I think we could all take a little bit of a note from her about just feeling and going, you know what, I'm going to try. When I was looking after Delta, she was obviously enjoying what she was seeing with her and getting her photo and things like that. So I'd met her many, many years ago. And then I think subsequently, having worked with a lot of internationals that have come and things like that and Australian celebrities, she's always there getting her photos with them. And I think that's amazing. I wish I had the courage to go up to people. I know in New York, Jude Law was sitting opposite me and I would never have gone over and said, hi, I think you're great. What a lost opportunity for me. It would have been amazing to do that. So
I
go
know.
her. Maybe we've made it, babe. That's great. I'll take that.
I'll take that.
I
yeah.
think anybody cheering you on is one of the greatest gifts you can be given. It's like if somebody wants to come up and tell us that they've really enjoyed the podcast, like we have been so overwhelmed with the support. And I think sometimes we think what we're talking about might not be that interesting, but I think one of the reasons we wanted to open the archive in the first place was there wasn't people that were going through similar things that we were going through and sharing them at the time. And so if we're able to impart some experience, maybe some good things, some not so great things, and maybe it makes you feel a little bit better about your day or something you're going through, like I feel like our job's done.
Well, I think it made us reflect as well at the event of how the podcast actually came about, and it wasn't an easy journey, and that is what we wanted to talk about this episode, because I think people don't know the story of how the podcast came to fruition.
I feel like it was this very like random thing where everyone was like, oh my God, I never would have picked that. Did you get a lot of DMs going, I never saw this coming?
Never saw this coming.
And it wasn't even intentional on our part. I think it came about where a mutual friend had said, have you guys ever thought about doing something together? And we definitely hadn't at that point, I don't think. And then you texted me and said, what about, or called me, I can't remember exactly how it happened. And we started to go, maybe we need to make this happen.
Well, we were approached to do a panel, if you remember.
That's right, yes.
It was a panel of 4 guests, and when you and I both spoke about it, we both just felt that it wasn't the right thing for us to do. And, you know, we kind of just like left it, but that idea definitely sparked.
Yes.
And then a few weeks later, I'm like, do you know what? Maybe I wouldn't do it with a panel of 4 of us. But maybe you and I, like, would you ever consider it? Like, this could kind of work.
And I think for me, I thought when you said it, I was like, actually, I think it would. We've both got very different points of view. We're different in how we live our daily life, but then in a lot of ways, we're actually very much the same. I also thought you'll keep me calm because with me, it is a little bit miss your breath, miss your turn. So I thought if there was 4 people, I mean, I don't know that I could do that. But I think the 2 of us, I think that it, you know, for me, it just felt like a natural thing for us to do.
Yeah. So then I spoke to my agent about it, and she thought it was a great idea. Again, she was like, I would not have pictured you 2 together, but this could really work.
Yes.
And I think you went away and spoke to a couple of people as well, asking for a bit of advice, and they all said the same thing. No, I would not have pictured it, but I think this is a great idea.
Okay.
So then what we did was we went away, and because we are both very type A, we full on, we did a proposal, we did a presentation,
pictures,
down to how the set would look, episode breakdowns, and we spent a bit of time on this proposal. And this is where it gets interesting. Our very first meeting, we're like, yep, okay, we're so excited. We both were like, do you know what? We're onto something.
I think we were probably a little bit naive as well, potentially. And I think that's probably what drives the outcome. I think at times you go, we know what we're doing. We're so good. Neither of us had ever done a podcast before. We'd been on other people's podcasts, but had never produced something or had an idea of what we could do. And I think maybe having that naivety is probably a really good thing, because I think sometimes when you know too much, you probably don't even get started, which is probably what a lot of people who are in business might think. They've got an idea and then how do they bring it to fruition? And I think for us, we just knew we only know how to get things done. We're doers, type A, wrote all the episode breakdowns. We had visuals to accompany. We knew how we wanted the set to look, did all the work, or what we thought was the work, what we thought was the right work. And then we booked in a meeting. Then what happened?
So our very first meeting where we pitched our podcast, we actually pretty much got rejected.
We did.
We had someone actually say to us, does anyone even care?
Yeah.
And not going to lie, we left that meeting, both of us, thinking we have it wrong.
Yeah.
We are barking up the wrong tree. Does anyone actually care? And that self-doubt, that what am I doing? I completely got it wrong, entered my head straight away.
But then do you remember we had a coffee afterwards and I said, no, this is wrong. We are having an emotional reaction, not a business one.
Yes.
And I think when we sat down, I always think when someone tells you no, there's a reason. I think when people ask you a question, it doesn't need to have a negative connotation. I think we went straight to that because we already had self-doubts in what we were doing. But I think now when I look back, I am so grateful that we were challenged in that way, because I think it made us better. I think it made us really look and go, hang on, what are we trying to achieve here? Because we didn't want to tell a story about two women who had a fight. Like that feels a little bit empty, doesn't it? But we wanted to discuss relationships and how relationships break down and how you go from being in a bad place to being in a great place. And I feel like that was fuel for us that continued to keep us in a place of accountability as we work through how we were going to make it happen.
Well, the no actually wasn't a rejection.
Exactly.
It was a redirection.
Agreed.
And as you said, once I got past my emotional response, we actually went back. We both went back, and I went back through the deck and completely threw out all those episode ideas, completely reworkshopped them.
Exactly.
And actually it made me realize that, no, this podcast needs to have a purpose. We need to help people. We need to be informative, get real. And it really pushed us into looking at it and thinking a lot deeper.
Absolutely. And I think for that, I'll be forever grateful for that no, because I feel like it really pushed us to put us in the place where we are now. We're really being open, sharing our stories, which is probably a good segue. Have you ever had a job that you wanted or worked towards something and it not turn out?
Well, absolutely. I think a lot of people see the glossy side of social media, which is something that we always say, but we never upload a story going, hey guys, I got knocked back from this job today, hashtag not winning today.
Definitely. I've not won a lot of times.
No. And I think it's like the biggest message that I want to relay in this episode as we start talking about all the times that we've had no said to us is that, brands are able to say no to us. It's not that entitlement that we should get every single job that we pitch for, but there have been many times where I've just been cut from a job for, reasons that I don't agree with. Yeah. So the best one that I can think of is my collection that I did with a brand. I've spoken about this before. It sold out in 20 minutes.
Yes.
Made the brand $2 million worth of sales, and we had stockists just putting orders on repeat and just kept on selling through, and the collection just went viral. Like Kylie Jenner was wearing it, Kendall was wearing it. It did so well.
I remember seeing it. Killed it.
And then part of that collection, I was then booked to do like a store opening and a store appearance, and everything was going really well. And then halfway through like the workday, essentially, I had the client come to me and she said, by the way, we're not doing another collection with you. I'm like, oh. Okay, no worries. She's like, yeah, we're going to go international next time. So we're thinking of like getting someone more international focus and
that's hard to hear on the day.
On the day where the cash register is cha-chinging and there's been nothing but amazing results. And that's the thing. It's like from the outset, I absolutely killed it. But here I have this brand telling me, by the way, I'm not doing another collection with you.
Yeah.
This is amazing, but you're still not good enough.
Yeah.
We're going to go somewhere else.
And it's interesting when you say that to me, because I think if I put my business hat on, I'm going in my head, it's not that you're not good enough. You've probably set it up so that now they can go to an international. So that's how good you actually are. But the words don't translate like that when it's being said to you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like I look and go, you've positioned the brand, you as this Australian fashion entrepreneur, designer, etc., has set the brand up to be able to contact an international to work on a collection. Like how amazing is that? But we don't hear it like that. How often do we not hear it like that? What I've learned in business for 15 years is that when one door closes, at the very least a window will open and redirect you to where you need to be. But that doesn't mean when it's happening or where that feedback's given, whether it be over an email, through a manager, over text, or sometimes no information at all, which is heartbreaking. I know I've experienced that. You have to sit in it. And I think, how long did it actually take you to get past that? Because I can imagine if you're selling on the day, everything's going great, it does hurt. It hurts a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, it felt like I was not appreciated, that they just thought that it was a given and they weren't grateful, you know, that sense of like, you know, thank you so much.
Yeah.
This has been amazing. There was no respect shown. It was just like, yep, great. You've made a stack of money. So now we can use that money to pay a massive international star to do a collection, which ended up flopping.
Yeah.
And they did come back for round 2. And of course it hurt. I was, you know, emotionally quite upset, and it made me also not be able to really celebrate the win.
Yeah.
Because as much as it was so successful, in my mind, I'm like, it still wasn't good enough because they didn't want me again.
Yeah.
They were just like, yep, that was great, but just letting you know we're going bigger next time. So
Roz, I need to tell you about a little hair hack that I have about a new product that Bondi Boost has brought out. It is called the Miracle Hair Mask. And yes, I know you've already got it, but do you have it in the strawberry gum?
I actually do.
Did they give it to you as well? So this isn't special.
They did.
Well, I loved it for me.
It is released
It's
November
so
the
good,
6th, but we've had a little bit of a sneaky trial beforehand,
It's
and
so good.
I absolutely love it. It's the same hair mask that we've been using, but in a new scent.
You know I love a scent. I marinate in YSL Lib, for those that want to know. But the strawberry gum is amazing, and I can already see the results in my hair.
Your hair is looking so glossy, so
It is,
shiny.
isn't it? I reckon I'm getting Roz hair. Like we
You
were talking
are.
about
Lana
sharing
with the
is
good
caring.
hair.
Lana with the good hair. I'll take that.
I like to do a little self-care ritual every Sunday night, face mask on, hair mask in. I also use it in the sauna. There's a little insider tip.
Yeah, that's great. I do love that.
And for those wanting to try out the product, you are able to do so at bondiboost.com.au, and you can use our exclusive code ARCHIVE.
Do you think as a result of that happening, your resilience is a lot better now? Like if something comes your way, great. If it doesn't, or do you think that's a constant battle with our industry? Like sometimes you'll get things, and I think to all the people listening, like whether it be that you're, you know, in an office and the person at the partition over gets the promotion and you don't, I think everybody experiences that. And what would be your tip, I guess, of how you overcame that to be where you are now?
I just worked harder.
Yeah.
I worked harder and I proved them wrong.
Yeah.
And still to this day, I get knockbacks. I still get cut from contracts.
Yeah.
And what I actually do is I just put my head down, ass up, and I just work.
Yeah.
I work even harder, that I make them regret their decision.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. You need to use it as fuel. That's what I've always done. I had a situation, and it's not fashion related actually. It's a bit more random than that. But I launched the shoe brand in October of 2019, and it was great. All went really well. It's 6 years actually this week, which was a bit exciting. But I had an opportunity, a random opportunity, where I'd been asked to go on Australian Survivor. Now, for anyone who knows me, actually, and most people wouldn't know this, like I am mad Australian Survivor. Like I love, because I feel like my alter ego would thrive in that. Like I would want to be that person that can just vote someone off the island, because I think, my heart could never do that in real life.
But you would have to wear like gym clothes on the show.
Yeah, but that would be fine. I'd pick good ones. But I was like, this would totally be my journey. And I love the idea of like the game, and it's like skill. I couldn't just sit out and do nothing. I love that you've got to do something. And I've watched every season, even the American ones.
I had no idea you were such a big fan.
Oh, massive, huge Australian Survivor fan. So anyway, I was thinking all my wins are happening at once. This is so great. I'm also a smart business person. I was like, well, you know what? This puts you front and center. You've launched this brand. You've put all
you
your
were
money
asked to
in.
be on the show.
Oh, I got all the way to the show. So I remember COVID hit and Sydney hadn't closed down, you might recall. Melbourne went first because of the Grand Prix and stuff. Anyway, I had to go and audition and go to St Kilda Sea Baths and do the physical test. So the last two things were the physical test and then the psychological test. And that sort of determines whether you're fit for purpose, So your personality, we think that's great, but we need to make sure you can handle it out there, because it is really hard. For those of you that watch it, and if you're a super fan like me, you know that. So anyway, I went out, did the test, did the swim, did the physical stuff, did the psychological test, and she was like, you're great. She said, I don't know how you'd go if you got voted out the first time. I said, oh, no, I wouldn't handle that at all, that kind of rejection.
Not gracefully.
Not gracefully. But then obviously, so got that far, was in, but then everything got put on hold because of COVID. And so I would continue to keep talking to producers, but I actually trained for a year. So this went on for a year.
Oh, wow.
So I was doing the training for it. Like I'm talking walking around with weights on, like trying to make sure I had upper body strength. I was like, I'd followed Boston Rob and those guys. I knew what I had to do. So I was training for a year. So we're in lockdown, all that sort of thing. And then they recast a year later and said, you know what? Because obviously more people were available because I hadn't worked, and I got cut.
Oh.
And I was just gutted because it's not like it was my career high milestone to be on Australian Survivor. But I think in that time where there wasn't a lot going on and I had the business, that was kind of my outlet, my little thing that I was working on. And I straight away went to, well, I'm not a big enough, talent. I'm not interesting enough. I'm not good enough. And I think we naturally have those conversations in our head. But when I talked about before about a door closing, my business then thrived. And it turned out when they were filming was when we, had this huge event, made all these sales, ended up getting a deal to go over to the US, which I wouldn't have been able to fulfill if I'd been out on the island. So the point is everything happens for a reason. And at the time I couldn't see it, but everything worked out as it should.
I do understand that. Do you find though that it makes it different though, depending on what the feedback is? So for example, why people say no. So when you got cut from Survivor, did they explain to you why?
They did. They said, we've just recast. And so what happens is when you're making a TV show, particularly a reality show, is everyone's a character. And there was already another 2 people like me.
Who was sunshine and rainbows and winning the day.
And I was like, who are they?
I'm yet to meet a single person as happy as you.
It was actually Sarah Davidson, our producer. We were at a wedding and I happened to go, oh, babe, because I knew Sarah was Mad Survivor too, because we'd always, when the show was on, we'd be like DMing each other going, can you believe they got voted off the island? I would have done this. Yeah. It was one of our friends. I got replaced and booted by one of our friends who also didn't end up going on it. But if she had I would have totally cheered her on.
Well, I see that because she's probably the only other person I know who's sunshine and rainbows.
Love it. We'll see. We're a rare breed, babe.
Yes.
And imagine me on the island, and I'm a worker. I'm a doer. I'd be making the fire. I'd be cleaning the camp. We know I'd be cleaning the camp.
You would be. You'd somehow smuggle your Dyson on there.
100%. And I definitely wouldn't be making the food because people would need to thrive. So that wouldn't be my area of expertise.
And not get food poisoning.
But again, I'd do all the fun things. So, and plus I'm great. I'm very competitive when it comes to sport. So I feel like I really would have added value. So in saying that, I think, I don't know how it would have gone for the long term, like with my nails and my teeth, because you've got to brush your teeth with. Anyway, we're getting off course. The point is I think it happened for a reason. It just wasn't meant for me. And I think what's not meant for you won't be yours. It's because something else is going to happen. And I think we often have to tell ourselves that, and I think what you said was completely spot on. It's like outwork people. You want to be talking and give commentary, I'll keep working. You want to put a trolling comment on my social media, I'm going to keep working. You want to talk about something that I'm doing, I'm going to keep working because I don't have time to talk. I'm just focusing. And I think when you do that, the law of averages will tell you that you're only going to succeed.
Yeah, well, I'm always open to feedback, and I will always ask people, even like with this podcast, whatever the job is, I will always ask for feedback and take on feedback because I don't feel that I'm too good to not listen to what other people say. So for me, a rejection or a no isn't because of I think I know better.
Yep.
And I think if a brand provides me feedback as into like, do you know what, we don't want to work with you, or now's not the good time because of this, this, no worries. I will work towards that.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not no, it's when a brand, and this is what happened to me recently as well, just will cut you for no reason. I was signed to a brand for a few years and I was their highest converter. I hit all my deliverables. I always went above and beyond. They wanted 3 stories. I would give them 15 stories.
Yeah. I've done that too.
Yeah.
And you still get cut.
And so everything was going so well. I did all their luxury campaigns. I was like the A+ student. Then when it came to renewing the contract, they actually told my agent, they're like, oh no, we're not renewing. And we were just like, reason why? And like, oh, it's not that anything she's done, like she's amazing. We just want someone younger. We want a young TikToker.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm like, but wait, that's like you sitting at work.
Yeah.
in an office or doesn't matter, and you just get tapped on the shoulder and you're like, you're amazing. Like you've hit all your targets.
Which
you've
is what
showed up
happens
to
to
work
people, right?
every single day. You haven't had a day off.
Yeah.
But we just want someone younger. And I'm like, guys.
Which is insane because you look ridiculous, but go on. Yeah.
I'm going, like, guys, like, it's not like I'm 100. And even if I was 100, I could do like walking frames and
imagine
diapers.
your skin at 100 with the, 20 minutes we had to take for the last few episodes back where you had to talk about your routine.
Broth, like, surely, but I could design a really chic walking frame. Like,
I think you'd be great.
I reckon I'd still be working.
And I think that's the thing, right? I think as women we experience that a bit, that kind of ageism, which is garbage. Do you know what I mean? It just shouldn't matter.
The other reason is I always get, but she doesn't have a business.
But I think that's a perception thing because you do. And people who want to make that judgment haven't done the work to understand who you are because you are a brand in yourself. And I think anybody out there who's doing, whether it be social media or they've got their own business or they're starting out, they're freelancing, it is hard yards. Like that's why sometimes when people say to me, I'm going to have a business, it's like, or I'm going to be 9 to 5, I want to have my own hours. I'm like, Joel, you'll be working 365 days a year, 7 days a week because you'll only ever put 150, 200% into you and what's going to generate money for you. So I would say those people just aren't your people and it's not your journey. So bye for now.
And I'm just going to keep on proving them wrong.
You don't have to prove anything to anybody. You're amazing. So if you're not someone's cup of tea, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm a bone broth drinker anyway.
But I think that's why you touched on it during this episode as well. It is so important. It's one thing that I've learned is it's so important to surround yourself by positive people who aren't just sitting there going to, pump you up even when you're wrong, because you need to have people that call you out as well. But I think it's just that positivity of, no, do you know what? You are amazing. Fuck them. You've got this.
Fuck them.
Yes.
And you know what? You can serve your feedback up, but you know what? You don't have to serve it black. Put some milk in that shit.
Yes.
And I think in our industry, we don't beat around the bush about that.
Yeah.
Whereas in a workplace, you wouldn't be allowed to say that.
You couldn't get away with that.
You couldn't get away with saying that. But I think an interesting thing that I've learned is sometimes it isn't that deep. I think we take it that way. You know what I mean? But I think business sometimes just goes in a different direction and it depends who's in there, who's sort of, I guess, like the puppeteer, for lack of a better term.
That's true.
Visions change and business strategies change. Like you, I had a manager tell me that she thought I was done and that maybe I should just focus on my shoes. And
in styling, you're done with styling?
Just done being out the front, just be the business Lana. And I think at that time, if I'm being fair to her, I think that's what I was projecting. So I also, what you put out, you attract. And I think that's why we've often talked about who you keep around you is really important. For me, my process when that happens is I talk it out. Like I don't let it sit with me.
Shocking.
Yes, I know.
Shocking that you talk it out.
Miss your turn.
Yeah.
But that's the way I kind of sort of process it in my mind so that I can unpack it. Okay, I'll usually turn to like a trusted colleague, a friend, Liam, and I'll be like, this happened. How do I improve? And I think we talked before about feedback, and I think we did this in our own personal relationship. Saying sorry doesn't mean you're wrong, right? Listening to somebody and how they feel about something you've said doesn't mean that you did the wrong thing. Like when we talk about business, it was a business decision. It wasn't a personal one, but doesn't mean you don't take it like that. But I think you sometimes have to try when you are able to sort of decompress and look at it from the other person's point of view. Like, why has that occurred? It was a bit like when someone said to us, why is anyone going to care? We were forced to kind of go, well, yeah, actually, why would someone care? We need to make sure that it's relatable. And I think that was true for our podcast. And I think there'd be lots of things that would be true for people with how they deal with people saying no to them.
Yeah, I know when I get the word no or I get knocked back, I'm a little bit different. I go internally.
Yeah.
And I go really quiet.
No, really? Tell me about that.
I go really quiet and I do a lot of self-reflection.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, why did they say no? Okay, it's because, whatever it is, her content isn't premium enough or, she doesn't really have this so I'm like, okay, well, what do I do to make me want to book me, make them want to book me?
Yeah.
And so I will, invest in content, I will invest in different things and I will just work harder towards those goals.
Do you know what I'm also going to say? And that's so amazing and why you are where you are. It's actually okay that sometimes you're just not everybody's flavor.
Yeah.
Like I'm not for everyone,
Yep.
you know, and that's okay.
Yes.
You'll miss out. I'm fun. I'm good to be around. If I'm working for you, you're going to get somebody who's putting in 150, 200%.
Yes.
If I'm your friend, I give that as well. And that's okay. Sometimes it's just not your journey. You
Or
know
maybe
what I mean?
it's not your time.
That's right. And I always say it. It's even with styling. I used to go, what makes a successful look? Right time, right person, right dress. And the same is said for life. Everything's about timing. What's for you will be meant for you. And I think we haven't come this far to come this far.
Yes.
You know, you've always got to look and see the glass half full, not half empty.
Yeah.
You know?
And I guess that's what we try and tell our children as well. That's what I say to Willow is that, you know, say if they don't make the basketball team, they don't make the swim team, they don't make the debating team. It's like, well, do you know what? Nothing is a given. No one's going to hand something to you. And if you haven't earned it or if it's not your time, well, do you know what? That's okay. Just put your bum down. That's not the saying. No, put your head down. Put your head down.
Well, it depends. If you're sitting, you're putting your bum down.
Yes.
If you're working, if you're doing what I'm doing, you're definitely moving. But I can't sit still anyway. But we're going off topic.
Do you know what? Train harder. Train. I know that sounds a little bit harsh, but it's like, well, do you know what? Put in that extra work and you will start seeing the results because hard work will always outdo talent.
100%. But also don't work hard on being noticed. Work hard and you'll be noticed. And I think that's something that I try and live by because even with the business, like customers will give us feedback. And I sometimes go, there's a reason that I don't answer those because you have an emotional reaction. I'm thinking that's got my name on it. I want it to be perfect. But guess what? Not everything is perfect. I'm not perfect. Unfortunately, I'm not sitting there hammering the shoe together, you know?
Yeah.
So we can't sort of always aim for that level of perfection because sometimes you are just enough. It's just that it's finding where you fit and where that works best. And then everybody thrives. So even on the night of our launch, I didn't tell you this, you know, I'd worked, if anyone watched our TikTok video where, you know, I was working in the morning, it had been crazy. I got really overwhelmed on the way because I was running late because it ran over and I'm like, I'm late for my own event. I got on the phone to Hayley Roach, she's our general manager and / my therapist, and sort of had this moment of, I can't do all of this. This is really hard. Everything looked great on social, but I just I needed a minute where I was like, I feel like I'm not doing my best. And I think what comes with that sometimes is the pressure that we put on ourselves. It's actually normal to have feelings of not feeling good enough, imposter syndrome, that the perception is that you're killing it and maybe you're not. Like the amount of people who've said to me in the last few weeks, I don't know how you're doing it. It's like, I'm not. I'm struggling too sometimes. And I think we need to make sure that people know that. Like it's not always easy. Not everything is as it seems. And I think it's really important when the bad stuff happens that we sit with it and we talk about it, however it is that we process, and then we move forward. And we move forward in a way where we're only getting better and thriving.
And I also think that it's so important to look at it as a positive as well, because had we have not been told no and challenged in that very first meeting regarding our podcast, I don't think we would be sitting on this couch here, sitting at I think it's number 4 in the country, which is like insane for 2 gals who, you know.
Didn't think they were good enough. Who probably, if it's come out, who probably still don't think they're good enough. But maybe that's the thing that'll make us really successful, because I always look at it as if you get to where you're going or if you think that you've made it, where's there to go from there? So I would take feeling a little bit, you know, down on ourselves at times, getting lots of no's, because it's only going to propel you to a big yes in the right direction.
Absolutely. And just taking that no and walking away and be like, all right, well, how can I make this concept better?
Absolutely.
Because I think I said it earlier, it's not a rejection, it's a redirection. So we redirected our podcast. We redirected the purpose for our podcast from that first meeting. And it was the best thing that happened to us.
I am so grateful to that person every day for doing that, because I feel like it's kept us really accountable. And I feel like that's where we're really lucky. And again, it's who you surround yourself with. We've had a lot of cheerleaders who came out to support every single person that I invited. Thank you so much. We invited. You were across the list, but she was overseas and I did go rogue. But we appreciate that you've listened and opened the archive with us. If there's anything that you want to know about or ask us, please reach out. We want to hear from you.
And we look forward to seeing you next episode.